Hello, DEVC 206 classmates. I am Imari Vergara, and I will be reporting on the fourth part of Module 11, which is about planning and producing a radio magazine program. So here are some factors that you have to consider. First, the concept or idea. According to J. Pamela Barber, having a notebook with you at all times is very helpful, as this will serve as one of our primary references. In developing a program concept or idea, it is crucial to be observant, taking note of interesting details that we encounter within our own minds, with day-to-day interactions with other people, and in our environment. No matter how random these ideas may be, at the end of the day, we can still enhance them in order to achieve the goals or objectives of our radio program. When formulating the concept of a radio magazine program, we also need to determine the target audience, the content, the program format or flow, the total running time or duration, and broadcast schedule and frequency. Next factor, the title. So program titles should not only be catchy, it has to encapsulate what your radio magazine program is about. So taking an example from DZUP 1602, the official radio station of UP Diliman, we have Lakwa Chica. So Lakwa Chica is a weekly travel-oriented radio magazine program. It combines the Filipino words lakwacha, which means travel, and chikahan, which means to talk. So this program focuses on the lived culture and experiences of scholars ng bayan from various parts of the country, taking the audience on a trip all over the Philippines. We also have the Eskwela Kalikasan para sa kabataan, kapaligiran at bayan, an educational radio program which promotes environmental conservation and protection. This program is actually a partnership among DZUP, the UP College of Mass Communication, the UP National Institute for Science and Mathematics Education Development, and the Office of Senator Loren Legarda. So just like the first program, Eskwela Kalikasan is made or it comprises two words in Filipino. First is the esque part comes from eskwela, which means school, and then kalikasan, which is nature in English. So again, the program is about environmental conservation and protection, and it also offers an online module. Next factor, the preparation. So according to Barber, she noted the importance of knowing which resources are available to us for the production and airing of our radio magazine program. This includes the budget, broadcast slot, type of program, whether live or canned or pre-recorded, actual production schedule, the manpower and talents, the facilities, equipment, and software, as well as the broadcast materials and content. We also have to find out if there are royalty fees and honoraria involved. So honoraria, if your guests need honoraria or appearance fees, so that has to be taken into account. And then royalty fees as well if you use music or other audio materials that require payment of royalties. We also have to determine which contents will be included in the program. Interviews, man-on-the-street interviews, discussions or opinions, features, hard news, and drama. The possibilities are endless actually, hence we have to be really grounded on our goals. Which of these contents or formats are most effective in delivering the program's message across its intended audience? That we have to answer during our preparation stage. Next, we have the signature tune. So music is also an important factor in radio broadcast, which is an oral transient media. According to Lustria, Tabing, and Osalia, it can be used to solidify the brand or identity of a program as it is an effective way to convey the style and concept of the radio magazine program. Music can also be played as a background or bed music. As a transition, and or as a filler of gaps to prevent dead air. Just remember to fade the music in and out at a comfortable pace instead of immediately cutting in and out. Quoting Barber, music should not be faded in the middle of a bar, but on a cadence, which is the close of a musical phrase. Meanwhile, Barber also explained that depending on the vibe of the music, the emotions that the voiceover wishes to convey can either be heightened or downplayed through music. And if used too loud, it can overpower the voiceover, which can confuse the listeners. It is important to be mindful of royalties and permissions as well to avoid legal violations. Next, sound effects. So we have two kinds. First is the actual sound effects, or what we could call as SFX for short, and the electronic effects. So sound effects or SFX are also helpful in relaying the message of the program if used correctly. Playing the sound of passing cars and honks indicate that the setting is by the road. Heartbeat sounds that gradually grow louder and louder means that the character is nervous or anxious. So can you see how it affects our perception of the story or the setting? But take note that there are also instances when too much SFX causes annoyance among audiences. Hearing the same sound effect over and over can wear out your listeners and even lose the significance of that particular SFX. So we really have to be careful when adding them. Electronic effects, on the other hand, are studio-manufactured digital SFX. This can also prevent dull moments in radio magazine programs. Electronic effects are often used to indicate some sort of fantasy ideas as per Barber. Next factor, the host or the presenter. According to Barber, this is, I quote, the most important single factor in creating a consistent style in a magazine program, as the host or presenter has the vital role of setting the tone of the program. They can be serious or friendly, formal or informal, or companionable or distant. Whatever persona they take or whatever approach they take, they must be able to have clarity of tone, good projection, and steady pace to be easily understood by the audience. Lustria, Tabing, and Osalia shared that in choosing hosts or presenters, it is important to be able to determine whether they have good dynamics and have the approach or style that matches the program concept. They should also be credible as they will be the primary voice of the program. This involves having the capacity and mindset to learn and absorb the topics to be discussed. Lustria, Tabing, and Osalia also shared one of the dilemmas often faced by producers. So, here, do we choose like an expert or a broadcaster as a host? Well, ideally, they said they can choose both. So, one of the ideal number of hosts, two. So, one expert and one broadcaster. But even though they can choose both, it is also important to remember that, I quote from Lustria et al., that the expert can be trained into a broadcaster and vice versa to some extent. So, a broadcaster who has less knowledge on the topic can eventually learn and become an expert on the topic, while experts who often have who often have trouble communicating, no, to a public platform like radio, they can also learn how to communicate and host a radio program. So everything can be learned. And then next, linking style. So linking style, according to Barber, is how each part of the magazine program transitions from one part to the next. But more of these will be discussed by our next reporter, hence I will be leaving this discussion to them. Okay? So now, in the interest of discourse, I will be leaving you with these questions. First, Which of these guidelines or factors do you find most interesting and why? And second question, what other tips crucial to planning and producing a radio magazine program can you share? We would love to hear your thoughts on this topic, so feel free to share them with us in the comments section. Here are my references in case you would like to read more about the topic. And then you can save this particular slide, screenshot, so that you can have your copy. This has been your classmate, Imari Vergara. Thank you for watching and see you in the next report.